Businesses tend to focus on revenue, profits, and getting loyal customers. But how about healthy workplace culture? You're listening to How I Turned the Corner, where Kendra Prospero leads eye-opening conversations that most business leaders avoid. The right way to address employee challenges. Listen to real-life stories of workplace struggles, giving you valuable advice on what must be done to make every employee truly satisfied and fulfilled in their job. This is for leaders who want to create great company cultures and for employees who want to do something to put an end to suffering at work in the most practical ways possible. Here's your host, Kendra.
Probably the hardest time that I've had as an entrepreneur was when I made a bunch of money, I had a big windfall, and I decided to quickly scale my team and then realized that I actually couldn't sustain it because I didn't have the consistent revenue. And it's when my eyes were open to that it is a constant battle to stay in balance with cash, products, and having enough of the right people. And our guest today is no stranger to this either, as he is right now in the throes of scaling. Anthony Halsch is the CEO and founder of ROXBOX. It's a really innovative manufacturing and construction company. They give a second, cooler life to shipping containers. They repurpose them into unexpected things like the beer can, which is a portable bar for festivals, or possibly repurpose them into office space or retail space. You got to go to their website, which is roxboxcontainers.com. That's ROXBOX containers.com, and just check out what they're doing. But today, we're not going to talk so much about that. We're going to actually talk about how they recently went from 7 employees to 25 and maybe even more in the course of about 2 months. It's a little scary for me, remembering my experience. It's terrifying, and it's also an incredibly exciting place to be, but no easy feat. And it comes with tons of stress, including how to manage all those new people. What's the structure of the organization? How do we keep product rolling and keep people there and make sure everybody knows what they need to do? And most importantly, how to turn the corner as a CEO and not just throw yourself into so much work that you burn out. Anthony Halsch, welcome to How I Turned the Corner. So
awesome.
Tell us, tell us, how are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, we've had a good year, and yeah, it's been a lot of rapid growth, especially the last 12, 18 months have been a lot of growth. We expanded from 5,000 square foot to 5,000 square foot facility to a 35,000 square foot facility in about 6 months. And like you said, yeah, I went from 7 to 25 in about a month and a half to 3 months, depending on when you start the clock type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it was it's great. Definitely not with its challenges, but it's definitely a good time.
Good. That's great. Well, so tell us, what have been some of the most surprising things for you about scaling this team?
So obviously, when you bring in a lot of different people that don't know each other into an organization, you're going to have people feeling each other out in the job in and of itself, all while you have tribal knowledge from the people that have helped start the business. And then you bring in a lot of new people that have hopefully, more experience than where you've seen in the past and can continue to contribute to the overall goals of the company. And with that, the difficulty, I guess, is it comes into making sure all those people mesh and that they mesh with the goals of the company and ultimately the culture. And so I would say, the experience of doing all that was eye-opening, to say the least. And it really, running a team of less than 10 people is not easy, but it's a lot different than when you get over the 12, 15 people, as your role as the CEO changes from, pretty much every single person that's in the company is a direct report to then having the steps of management or the CEO down to a manager level, and then down to some more people less senior than that. And so you've got another layer of management in between yourself and the people getting it done. And so that's where that challenge is, making sure your managers are also evoking the culture and the moral compass that you're trying to create within the company, all while pushing to get more stuff out the door. So Absolutely. It's a lot of things combined there.
Yeah, totally. So when you were smaller, when you were in that 7 to 10 person culture, what did you have in place to sort of help define the culture? Did you have anything you had already done as a team?
Not really like planned out.
Okay.
It was more of, we started, it was me and two other people really when we started the company. And I founded it, but they were quick supporters coming right on to the team and things like that. And they helped us grow quite a bit.
But do you have more
So,
purposeful things you were doing to sustain your culture when you were
understood. Yeah,
smaller?
and honestly, not really. We're a group of people that's creative. We like to have fun, and we work our asses off. To be honest,
Okay.
it's one of those things where it kind of was a natural culture. I would say that a lot of the people that I hire, have similar personalities to myself and similar drives in terms of work ethic and what they're trying to achieve in their life. A lot of them are younger people. I'm a fairly young person myself. I just turned 30 in July. So, a lot of the times I had people that were a couple of years older than me, maybe one or two that were younger than me. But yeah, it wasn't really a structure so much as, you show up and you do the best you can, and we're going to have fun at the end of the day too, and I know a lot of people, a lot of companies say that they, the work-life balance, work hard, play hard type of thing. But, we actually did that. And, it was going out to events and festivals and things like that. And what's cool about our product is that, we got invited to a lot of those things, and a lot of times complimentary tickets and stuff. So we could get our products in there and let our clients use them. And so by doing that, we would have the whole team out there on a Saturday or Sunday at whatever it was, a beer festival or a farmer's market or something like that. And we were able to, enjoy each other outside of work as well, and kind of, celebrate the fruits of our labor a little bit by seeing it in action, and our clients very happy and the customers using those products very happy. So it's kind of a perpetual circle, if you will, of that type of enjoyment that, you show up to work on Monday and you get stuff done during the week, and you go have fun on the weekends, and it's all work related, but it doesn't feel like work at that time.
Yeah, that's neat. That's really cool. Well, so now that you're at 25-ish or more, what are you noticing now around like the structure that you've maybe needed to put into place to support those 25 people that you didn't plan for or didn't have, of course, when you were 7 to 10?
Sure. Yeah. And that's definitely a big challenge, is that, honestly, and I think that's where culture slips a little bit too, is that as you're hiring all these people, you have to put in controls and management structures so that everyone knows what they're doing and can continue to forward the mission without having to ask questions or know where their place is, and all that stuff. And I would say it's an ever evolving situation. So when we first went from, I think we slowly scaled up to around 12, and then we really hit it and like doubled our personnel in about a month after that. And that was in like April or May of 21. So just over a year ago is when we really did this. And it was a challenge because we unfortunately had turnover. Is when you're hiring that fast, some people aren't going to be a fit. And one of the things that we try to do is if we can sense it after, the 30 days or whatever, we do a 60-day trial period essentially. So, we don't give out benefits or anything like paid time off until after 60 days, right? So there's a time period where we get to know each other and start learning from each other and seeing what skills are, and if it's a mesh or not. And so what we were really doing was, trying people out, a lot of people, and it was a pretty quick situation that if they didn't fit in, it was, thanks for your time here, but it's not going to work out. So, and that's a difficult part too, right? You, as a CEO, you're hopeful that everyone that you hire is going to be a 10-year employee and add a lot of value to your company, and that's why you hired them in the first place.
Right.
But the reality of the situation is that's not the case anymore. And people are looking for other options and maybe trying out jobs that they've never tried before. And our company is unique to what we build. It's not repetitive so much as we do a lot of different things, and so you have to be very flexible. And even just flexibility within a company can make people uneasy or uncomfortable. And so you have to have people that are, willing to learn on the fly, change on the fly. And those types of people, I've come to find out, a little few and far between. Is a lot of people do like structure more, and around here things can change in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
It seems like. So that's definitely a big part of that is the turnover it hurts, but at the same time, you have to understand that it's part of that growth, is that if you want to scale and you're having to hire that many people, unfortunately, the diligence piece is something that we honestly, and I hate saying this, is we didn't have a ton of time for. So, if we had a phone interview and then an in-person interview and we liked them, all right, let's try this out, and it wasn't
Right.
a 3 or 4 interview process. And so with that, we've always maintained the fun culture because of what we do. And so the people that ultimately ended up staying with us and got through that 60-day trial period, they fit in great. And it's that evolution of the culture that kind of just keeps on going and evolving as you grow. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Well, and I find we work with a lot of companies on this too. You can do a faster recruiting process or recruiting put them through a faster experience if you have a process associated with it. I mean, we have a very fast process too, but I mean, this is of course the work we do. We better eat our own dog food, right? But you it can work as long as but if you put more structure around it, it's more, you have more success too. So just a thought there. But the other thing is, so let's talk about your management structure, because I have always been a student of this work and curious about how people structure their organizations. I mean, I've studied pretty in depth, like the Zappos model, which is very, very flat. And a very large organization for how flat they are. And then, of course, you have your command and control type organizations that are extremely hierarchical. I find the best balance is kind of a combination of both, where you're enabling people to kind of make a lot of decisions on their own, but they're still managed and they still have somebody kind of help knock down barriers. Where do you find you guys are falling in the sort of those two extremes of the no structure whatsoever to too much structure?
Sure. Yeah, no, I would say we're a hybrid model as well. And we actually kind of tried to employ the flatter model earlier on when we were I don't know, July, August of last year, in that, we had more managers across the board so that they were handling individual parts of the company and they were responsible for it. And then it would kind of flow up to me a little bit, but we really only had, 3 levels with 25 people. So, and, with the C-level at the top. So we've got myself as the CEO, and then chief of design and chief growth officer. And then we have our director of operations. And so that's the 4 managers or managing partners, if you will, of the company. And then below that, we've got, production people, finance, and then project estimation and marketing. And then we have people below them. So it's really only a 3-tier company right now. And so, it is still fairly flat. And I mean, I'm still out there managing projects and getting stuff done when we really need it, and getting my hands dirty and that kind of stuff. So when it comes down to it, everyone will pick up a wrench or a screwdriver or anything like that to get stuff done. And so we really, when it comes time to do something, it's all hands on deck. And I mean, we call them ROXBOXers. We'll work 24-hour shifts just straight through and to get a project out the door. We have tight deadlines. And so with some of our clients, it's a trade show or something and you can't miss it. And so, we have to work that hard and that long. And it's everybody, everybody on the team, from the office to production team, is out there getting stuff done, doing whatever they can to help. And so it fluctuates for sure on certain different times of sales and things like that, and where you're at with your yearly sales cycle and stuff for how flat or structured it really gets, I would say. But we're fairly fluid in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so then, I mean, with your management team, then the layer that's between you and then the people who are doing a lot of the work, how do you feel your communication is with them? Like, what are you doing to communicate values and expectations through those managers, just so that the culture is sustained at that lower level even?
Sure. Yeah. We don't have a ton of structured, I would say, like team building type things, but what we try to do is have, all hands meetings every month that kind of go through. We're a very transparent organization, I would say, that We go through where we're at, cash flow wise and product wise and customer wise and all that stuff. And then, shine a light on what's coming down the pipeline. I think a lot of people on the lower levels, they don't get to see everything that we're doing in the office and all the clients that are coming in and the conversations that are being had. And so, if we get a little slow in the shop for a week or two, because just how our sales cycle goes, some of them might get a little antsy, is like, oh God, where's the work and all this other stuff. And we're over here freaking out because we have way too much coming in and all that. And so it is hard to delineate or communicate all that stuff to everyone in the company. And so we try to have group meetings as much as possible. We do a all managers meeting every Tuesday, that kind of thing. And so we go through a lot of this stuff at a higher level so that they're able to disseminate that down to their reports and be able to see that. And then we also hang out after work and stuff like that. There's a group of us that hang around and talk and stuff. So the overall goals and stuff, I think, are kind of organic in terms of how they're communicated. But we also have SOPs and missions and values and that kind of stuff that we have hanging up and things like that, so people are aware of where we're going and what the ultimate mission is. But a lot of that stuff really gets hammered down in the all hands meetings that we do all the time.
Mm-hmm. Great. So how do you feel as a leader? Like, how has it been for you? Do you like it?
Yeah, no, it's good. I don't see myself doing very many other things than starting businesses and running them. I have another company on the side that's we do spray foam insulation as well. And so my wife runs that. And running businesses, like I enjoy it. I enjoy selling. I enjoy putting products out there. And I think, if you do it right, it's definitely an improvement for the world. So, I like all that. And, I would get bored, I think, if I didn't have something to do every day. So
yeah. So what are some of the things that I call it head trash, like the stuff that causes you to go, am I doing enough? Should I do more? Like that stuff that feels like the itchy shirt that you just you need to take care of, but it's just hard to figure out what to do. Do you mind sharing what yours might be?
Oh man, there's a lot of those. I would say that the biggest thing is developing an action plan around where your mission is and what your vision is, because I think one of the things that, people can get caught up in is like that, the BHAG, right? The big, hairy, audacious goals. And you look at those and you try to like take big bites out of it and you end up not getting anywhere. And I think it's a better approach to develop a system around how you're going to get there by, either daily tasks of little bites here and there of how you can keep moving towards that goal every day, instead of trying to have like all day meeting or something like that to have the managers in there. We solve a big problem that day. What we've tried to do is break it down a little bit further. We're actually doing this right now, so this is kind of a good conversation to have, but we're realigning roles and responsibilities. Like we've grown super fast. We've moved some people around in higher level management positions. We've let some people go. We've had some people leave. And so over the last month, I would say we've really been realigning with the team that we have today on getting back to how we're operating and what they're doing. And so with all of that, we use a system, OKRs, objectives and key results. It's if you read any Silicon Valley startup books, any of those types of things, that's what they've always used. All the big companies have always used OKRs, and that's kind of the type of mentality that we try to take, is taking those big goals and breaking them down to, a yearly goal, a quarterly goal. And then in the quarter, what are you doing every day to get there, so that, month one, you're at a certain place, month two, you're at a certain place. And I think that as we're realigning our OKRs and our personnel and stuff to make sure everyone's in the right seat on the bus, is that that's really, really developing how we're able to get through that itchy shirt, I would say, because some of the stuff that I'm looking at right now is, is everyone working a full 40? Are there people that have less hours, and we could potentially put some more work onto them and take some from the people that are working 70 hours a week? And in modular construction, it's tough because you kind of go through these peaks and valleys where, you've got a bunch of work that comes in, and then there's a bunch of work that has to be done on the front side that's in the office to get through permitting and all that kind of stuff. And so you kind of go through this wave situation where you've got a lot of work and then it slows down, a lot of work and then it slows down. And we're really trying to take that out of play by changing some of the sales things that we do. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest itchy shirts that I have right now is making sure everyone is, putting in all the time and not too much. Like, we're not trying to burn people out by working 70 hours a week, 80 hours a week, that kind of thing. That just, you can only do that for so long. So that's definitely a big one. And then consistency in manufacturing. So taking out those waves so that we have longer term projects that continue to go, and then it's not so much work on the office side because we just continue to produce the same unit over and over and over again, and it doesn't take more of the office time, so that keeps the revenue going. So I would say those two things: efficiency of making sure everyone's in the right seat and realigning everyone to make sure they're working enough and not too much, and then also getting rid of the ebbs and flows of the projects.
Yeah, that's challenging for sure. And that's just, if not, I mean, you can also get to a point where you're selling so much that it's a consistent 70-hour work week. It's not just ebbing and flowing. And then you're on path for total burnout.
Right.
Because there really is only so much that someone can sustain for a long time in terms of the stress without having some downtime. So with that in mind, like, how are you, like, what are you doing for yourself?
I like to go camping when we
Okay.
get weekends off. Yeah. I've got two little boys. So yeah, they're 2 and 4. And so, yeah, spending time with them and my wife is definitely what we do to relax, go to the woods and, go somewhere in the mountains where the cell phone doesn't reach the towers, and yeah, shut it off for the weekend. And that really helps out a lot. And then we also we take off the week between Christmas and New Year's every year, as well as the week of the 4th of July. So, we try to, split the year in half a week at least, and give people a week off where no one's working. So, we don't have people calling and all that stuff. Cause, if we're in production, my phone's pretty much got to be on all the time, in case we run into whatever. And so that's where, it's definitely a challenge, definitely wears on you for sure. But it's all, I wouldn't change it for the world, and I'll take it. Cause this company, we've bootstrapped it. And so it's pretty much everything. My whole existence is in this building and in this company. And so, it is everything. And we'll continue to push on that, and yeah, see if we can take some breaks here and there. But we do have an unlimited PTO policy, and I would say that our team is very good at preparing for a leave of absence. So, obviously in Colorado, there's a ton of stuff to do outside and all that. And a lot of our team likes to go enjoy mountains and the outdoors of Colorado and the West in general. And so we try to let them do it. And I don't think I've ever said no to a vacation request. And it's just, get everything prepared, put it in a big email of all the things that could happen or what you might have to be responsible for, and make sure all the people that are covering for you know who to talk to and have the contacts and all that type of stuff. And then, yeah, go shut your phone off and enjoy yourself.
That's good. Yeah, that's one of the pitfalls we see of unlimited PTO, is that people don't take it. So there's a couple of things that either happen is you have the occasional person who just totally takes advantage of it, which is a totally different issue, or you have people who don't do it at all, and then they really burn out. And so it's a good thing that you're seeing people actually taking it. That's a very positive thing. And it's from probably the way you put the structure together, and you also modeling it, right? You're stepping away, which is good. And so it's just something to keep in mind, like down the road, if you see someone not taking any of their PTO, you got to give them a little kick in the pants. Like, yeah, you need to go on vacation.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's excellent. So what's next for you guys? Like, what does the next 2 to 3 years look like?
Well, we do have a lot of initiatives in play, and there is a very large, we call it contract manufacturing. So it's, multiple units over and over again, and it'll actually be hopefully about a 2-year project of, 4 to 8 units a week type of thing. And that's the one we've been looking for, to kind of take out those ebbs and flows. And so that's coming up Q1 of this coming year.
Congratulations. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And a lot of the bigger ones that we've been working on for, a year or more are starting to finally come through. So there's a few larger developments that are going to be taking place in Denver, which is super exciting. We haven't built big things in Denver so much yet. They've been in other places and stuff. So it's great to see that we have some clients here where we're going to be putting in some pretty cool installations that'll be very active and populous over the next couple of years, because they're in high traffic areas and stuff. So bringing stuff to the hometown is awesome. And then we also are looking at a potential expansion to the East Coast somewhere. So we've got the West pretty much covered, but we are, losing some deals or getting into competitive deals on the East Coast just due to the transportation factor of how expensive diesel fuel is right now, and the cost of all getting everything to the other side of the country. You just to buy from ROXBOX, you could be adding a $5,000 to $30,000 shipping bill if you're on the East Coast, and so that puts us out of some competition in certain areas depending on what the build is. So that's a big one we're doing. And then just really diving a little bit more deep into the company itself, and developing more training and stuff, and getting prepared for the next big expansion, because we've sat at 25 employees for about 8-9 months. Close to a year. We've been at this level, and that's definitely on purpose. We want to get our feet underneath us a little bit more. And like I said, with a bootstrapped company, you can't make a lot of mistakes, because if you do, you run out of money, and then it's all game over. So
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't even have a loan from the bank. Like I'm just like, or a line of credit even. I'm like, if I'm totally 100% bootstrapped as well. So yeah, I get it.
Totally. And it's, that is an eye-opening thing too, is like, if, you do get slow and the cash does get a little low and you have to start laying people off and things like that, that's when, it's not the funnest day to be the CEO type of thing. No. So, and you don't want to go to that day. So, being cautiously optimistic is kind of the role we're playing right now. Is like, yes, things are going well, we're growing, but we're going to try to keep us as lean as possible, and have people dive deeper into their roles, and process out more of the operations so that it's more automated, and we don't have to add more people into the situation, so that our communication can get significantly better throughout the ranks. And then once we have that foundation developed a little bit better, people know exactly what they're responsible for, exactly what they're supposed to be doing all the time. Then I think we can potentially hit another growth mode here, even higher, and potentially adding more people over the next 8 to 18 months, if you will, as we expand potentially to the East Coast. So that's the next step.
That's great. Excellent. Well, gosh, Anthony, it's so good to chat with you, and we wish you the best in this journey for sure. And I really, really appreciate the thoughtful approach that you're taking to this, and to your culture as well. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us today.
No, thank you very much, Kendra. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, Anthony Halsch with ROXBOXcontainers.com. Go visit him. Go check out what they're doing. It's probably not something you'll have in your backyard, but it's definitely something you may see in your local festival, no doubt. So, all right. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kendra.
Thank you for joining this exciting episode. We hope this discussion brings you closer to a better, healthier, and more rewarding workplace everyone deserves to be a part of. If you want more content like this, be sure to subscribe to the podcast at turningthecornerllc.com/podcast. Don't forget to share this with your friends in the corporate world. And together, let's make this space a hub of growth and job satisfaction. If everyone loves where they are, they can always give their best without regrets. That's all for now. See you on the next one.